Howdy, howdy, y'all. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hello, Kira. Let us
Hi.
know where you guys are calling in from. We're always curious about where you're calling in from. We're super excited to have you guys here. So we are doing really something really interesting, unique, something we haven't done before. So I'm super excited to have our guests who I will introduce here in a second. But really, it's about discovering the secrets of scaling your marketing outreach and business effortlessly. Today, Audrey will guide you through the art of implementing a rinse and repeat strategy, enabling you to deploy your most profitable campaigns with super ease. So basically, picture this, right? You're organizing a masterclass, you're a coach, you want to do a virtual summit, or even an annual online course with just one click of a button. Imagine creating a comprehensive campaign that covers everything, including landing pages, sign up forms, email sequences, content delivery pages, guest speaker invitations, and literally anything you can think of. The possibilities are endless. And so she's going to show you exactly how to do that, which we're super excited about. But before we embark on this journey, let's introduce our esteemed guest speaker, a familiar face in the Kartra community. Audrey Rose is the dynamic force and CEO of the Soulshine Creative. Audrey wears many tiaras, from intuitive business coach and launch strategist to Kartra certified business consultant, technical expert, and Amazon best-selling author. Her remarkable journey spans diverse roles, from being the oldest of 9 siblings to bartending and esthetician work, being a spa owner, Reiki master, VA, and funnel builder. Armed with a degree in web and graphic design, Audrey seamlessly blends creativity with technical expertise. And if you guys have ever seen her pages, that creativity is mind blowing, truly, truly. What sets Audrey apart is her unique life experiences, professional versatility, and her ability to turn grand ideas into reality. With boundless creativity and scalable plans, she transforms dreams into actionable outcomes. Audrey's affinity for Kartra stems from its ability to streamline business processes. She values the platform's cohesive functionality, aligning perfectly with her philosophy of eliminating patchwork solutions, or as she likes to call them, Frankenfunnels. Just as in her diverse life roles, Kartra's seamless integration of various elements resonates deeply with Audrey's vision. So get ready to be inspired and learn from the best. And let's welcome Audrey Rose as she shares her insights and expertise to propel us from novice to ninja in the realm of marketing mastery.
Thank you, Grant. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm really excited. I see some familiar names, so welcome. All right, so we're just going to dive right in. I am really excited to share with you how I use campaigns. My goal here is to really share with you the benefits of using it and debunk any troubleshooting or any feelings of how do I use this? Because oftentimes the campaign can be so daunting because people just don't understand how it works. So we're going to fix that today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, welcome. So one of the ways that I love to talk about campaigns, first, today's agenda. So today my goal for you is to get you to understand, teach you how to use Kartra campaigns, how they can be used, how to create your own Kartra campaign, how to share your Kartra campaigns, as well as how to, let's turn this off, there we go, how to use Kartra campaigns to make some extra money. Believe it or not, you can do that. So first, let's dive into one-click deployment of online events and sales pages. So the example I'm going to share with you today is how to do a masterclass. Now, this can be a paid masterclass. It can be a freebie masterclass. Basically, what I'm going to show you is how to take your, let's say you're doing a masterclass every month, and you really want to deploy that, or you really want to use that masterclass, same one, rinse and repeat every time. So you don't have to create an entire funnel every single time. So I'm going to teach you what that looks like. So inside of Kartra, you have your assets, right? You have your tags that show people whether they've opted in, whether they have purchased something. You have your tracking links to be able to see where people have come from. You have your opt-in pages, your thank you page. If you're going to do a replay, you have your replay pages, your video for that replay page, the form. So if it's a free event, you're going to have people fill out a form to opt in. Then you have your sequence, which is like your welcome sequence. So after they've opted in or purchased, they're going to get a welcome email with their next steps. Then you're going to have promo emails, which essentially are your broadcast emails. These are the emails that you're going to send out to invite people to your event. Then you have automations, and then memberships can be an asset if you want to house the, let's say you want to turn this into an evergreen and you want to house the replay in a membership and be able to sell that later on. And then if this is a paid event, you'll use a product instead of a form. And so the way that I like to say campaigns can be used is you take your campaign, you take all of your assets, right? You put them in this beautiful little gift box. You put all of your assets inside of this gift box. And then whenever you're ready, excuse me, whenever you're ready to do that masterclass or that event over again, you simply deploy, you click a button, you deploy it, and boom, boom, boom. All the assets are remade for your new masterclass, for your new sales funnel, for your new summit or challenge. So when you think about campaigns, think about building it once, putting in this beautiful little gift box, and then when you're ready to do that event again, you just deploy, you click a button and you deploy, and then all of the assets are created for you all over again. So let's dive into how that actually works inside of Kartra. So inside of Kartra, if we go here to our campaigns, we have Marketplace, Available Campaigns, and My Campaigns. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of my water here. And we're going to actually start backwards with My Campaigns. So inside of your My Campaigns is where you're going to actually create the campaigns. So this is where you're going to take all of these assets and put them inside of your pretty little box. So I've already created one for us to test drive today. But essentially, when you're ready, you're going to click on the + campaign. So I'm going to go ahead and click here. I'm going to click on edit, and then you would name your campaign. So I'm creating this as a masterclass for today's lesson. Campaign description, and then this will automatically populate with whatever your information is in your profile. So then next we're going to click on edit. And so for the campaign preview, you can add an image here. So if we click here, you see how these have images? These are just nice to be able to see what it is visually. And if you plan on selling these in the marketplace, it's really nice to be able to have something that looks pretty. And it has the nice dimensions here for you as well. So for right now, we're just going to click on adding in a display image. All right, so we're going to click Save and Next. This is the fun part. This is where we're going to put all of our assets inside of our pretty little box, gift box. So if we had a product, in this case, this is a free. One of the things that I was taught a million years ago is free is form, paid is product. A lot of people get that confused sometimes. So in this event as a masterclass, we're going to be doing a form since it would be free. But if it was paid, we would add that product in there. So for this one, I've already added in all of our assets. So we have an opt-in, right? So whenever someone opts into your masterclass, you want to have them tagged so that way you know exactly who has opted into that masterclass. And then I have 4 tags here. These are going to be for our tracking links, which we'll get to later. Now, one thing that I want to show you is you see how I've created all of these with that little hyphen in the front of it? I've done that so that when we go to deploy it, I'll show you later why I do that. Now, you don't have to. I am just I get very excited about having everything be seamless and categorized and uniform. So I'll show you where that comes into play a little bit later. So we have all of our tags. Then we have our pages, right? So we have our opt-in page. We're going to have our thank you page. And we're going to have a replay page. In this case, we're not going to use a membership. We're just going to use a replay page for our replay of the masterclass. And then we have our sequence, which is our welcome sequence. And then we have one form. And then we're going to have our 4 tracking links. These are the tracking links. So when I name tracking links, I name them basically the same as the tags that go along with them. So there's our 4 tracking links. I only have one promo email in here, but technically you can have, if you had like 3 or 4 promo emails, you could add all of those in there. And then one video, this is going to be the replay video. And then that's it. So that is all of the assets, right? So if we go back to here, these are all of the campaign assets inside of our pretty little box. So we're going to click save. And you can see here, let's pretend visually this is our pretty little box. And then we're going to click save and next. And then for right now, excuse me, we're just going to say no, we don't want to list this in the marketplace. I'll come back to this here in a little bit to show you. Actually, let's just go ahead and do it now. So if we did want to put this in the marketplace and sell it here, you would click the change. You would click yes, list in the marketplace. And then you would put what type of category it is. So in this case, this would be a full-on campaign. So if it was just our pages, it would be a single page template. If it was just a membership, it would be a membership template. But since this is a full-on funnel with all the assets to make everything complete, it would be a campaign. And then you could put in the marketplace subcategories. So I would, for this one, I would do a webinar, and then you would click save. So for right now, I don't want this to go in the marketplace, so I'm just going to click on save. Save and next, and then we're finished. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our campaigns. We now have my campaign right here. So this is the part where we get to make everything pop out of this beautiful gift box. So we're going to click on these 3 dots here. We're going to click on share. Now, one thing I do want to show you really quickly is if you click on here, visually, you can see everything in there, everything that's inside of it. So if I click here, it's going to open up and show me all of our tags. If I click here, it's going to show me all of our pages, right? So it's a really good way of being able to visually just see what all is included in this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on those 3 dots. I'm going to click on share. This is really important. This is the way that it pulls it all together. So I'm going to click on share, and I'm just going to go ahead and say yes. Now it's just making sure that we are using our own work and that we're not, doing anything harmful in the community. So we're going to click save yes, and then click next. And you can do this in 2 ways. You can transfer the campaign via someone's email. So let's say for any of our VAs out there or agency owners, or friends that have Kartra, and you're like, oh my gosh, I just had this beautiful page created and I want to share it with you because I think that you could use it too, or whatever. You can put their Kartra email in username here and then share it with that way. The way that I generally tend to do it is I generate a share code. And so what we would do then is we would grab this share code. I'm going to go ahead and click copy. I'm going to click close. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to available campaigns. We're going to click on + import, and we're going to put that share code in there, and we're going to click next. And this is showing us all of the campaigns that we are getting ready to deploy. So we're going to click on begin import, and then we're going to click close. Now we're not done yet. We're not done yet. So we've technically made this beautiful campaign. Now, in order to deploy it, in order for it to actually live out inside of our pages and be able to use it, rinse and repeat, we have to deploy. So if I click here on deploy, it's going to say that I get to give it a prefix. Now, we only get 8 characters here, which sometimes cannot be enough. And so a lot of times what I like to do is, let's say I'm doing a masterclass for January. And I want this to be, I want to start working on my sales or my opt-in registration page and email copy and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and deploy this. What I like to do is I like to give it the prefix of either like 1-24 and have that be the prefix, because what's going to happen is all of these, you see how I put a hyphen there? That 1-24 is going to be the prefix in front of every single tag, every single page, every single asset that we are now deploying. So let's say we do 120. I think I might have already done this one. So I'm just going to do 2024. And then let's just call this masterclass for January 2024. And then we'll click import. And this is the cool part. This is everything jumping out of that gift box now into your account. And you're able to then If we go to our pages, you'll be able to see here. Here's our opt-in page. Here is our thank you page. And here is our replay page. If we go to our tags, you can see here all of our tags have just been created, right? And if we go to, let's see, we have tracking links. If we go to all of our tracking links, we should have 4 new tracking links. Boom. Everything is duplicated. It's all created again. So let's go to our pages. So when you go to do this in real time, right, in real life, if you want to be able to like use a masterclass over and over and over again, all the backend tech, everything is created. The only thing that you have to do is update your page copy. So that's your page copy for your opt-in. Obviously, the name of your title is going to be different. You might want to do some different pictures. Your thank you page, the copy will need to be adjusted there. And then any copy basically that is going to pertain to your new masterclass in the pages and in the emails. And that's it. It's a very cool, quick rinse and repeat way to be able to use one funnel over and over again with a click of a button. All right. Do we have any questions for us? That's pretty much how the whole thing works. One thing I will do is I'll go back here to our campaigns. And so now that we have that campaign, right? The campaign lives here in available campaigns. We want to use it again. We're just going to deploy it again. And now let's say we want to do 2024. Whoops. We'll do 2024. And then let's say we'll do masterclass for February. So you can do it over and over and over again. And then one last final thing that I will go over really quickly here is the marketplace. So as I had said before, the marketplace is a really cool way to make some extra money. So let's say you've created this whole funnel and you want to be able to share it and sell it. You can add it into the marketplace, how I showed you before in the marketplace section. And then all of your campaigns that you've created or pages or whatnot or whatever would show up inside of here. So people would be able to go through and view it. So like if we click on, let's see, webinar registration. No, squeeze pages, long sales page. Yeah, if you created one, then it would show up inside of here and people would be able to click on it and be able to purchase. And it's a pretty cool way to be able to make a little extra money and share your work. Like this one's ours. And it's just a really cool way to be able to share your pages and your funnels and help other people who may not entirely know how to piece it all together by being able to share the work that you've created. So I believe that's all for the presentation part.
Yeah, awesome. Real quickly too. So that's so cool. That's honestly like, yeah, truly one rinse or repeat. Can you maybe go over a few examples of things you've used this for? Like we saw you did different dates. You maybe have a masterclass you would do maybe every summer you do a masterclass. What are some other examples that you've personally done?
So some other examples I've done this for is, okay, so I have a couple of memberships. One is a mastermind where we have 4 calls a month. And the other one is a membership where we have 2 calls a month. And so what I like to do, and I may end up sharing my screen here to be able to show you, but what I like to do is I have created those, let's say for the membership, I create 2 videos where I have hyphen and then live Q&A. And then I have another one that's hyphen live training with Audrey. And then what I've done is I've created those as a campaign. And then whenever I'm ready to deploy it, I just give it the name and the month. So I give it, the month and the year. So I'll give it like January 2024. And so when I'm going to then put the replays for the membership inside of the membership area in Kartra, I literally just have my VA deploy it and then upload the replays in that section. So I don't have to constantly make videos every single time. I literally just deploy the campaign. It already has the splash image there ready that says replay coming soon. It's perfect. And then another way that I use it is, excuse me, I do a lot of summits, like big events. summits and 10-day challenges where they have speakers and that sort of stuff. And so those end up being like, I want to say one of the campaigns we did was over 100 assets, because they have so many tracking links and then pages, and then there's a membership, and then there's like 25 videos. And so what I like to do in my clients' accounts is, as we're creating it for the first time, we create it all with that hyphen and then whatever the name of it is, so that when we go to do their event the next time, or if their VA goes to do their event next time, they literally just deploy it and everything is ready. All of the backend tech, the product, the upsell pages, the membership with all the replays, where they literally just have to swap in copy that is pertaining to that specific event. So it's a really cool way to shortcut the whole funnel building process, because you just have to create it once.
Yeah, that's so insane. And what if, like, if someone was not a funnel builder, didn't have a whole lot of experience, could they take one of those campaigns, like you, like for instance, you had in the marketplace, and then rinse and repeat that as well?
Yeah. So the one that I showed you and created was actually created from that one that's in the marketplace.
Ah.
So I have like 3 themes of it. And so what you could do technically is you could purchase any of them. They don't have to be mine, like any of the ones that are in there that are full campaigns, and you can literally use it, make it to your branding or your client's branding or whomever. And then you can then take all those pieces, put it in your own campaign, and then deploy that. And now it has your branding, it has your fonts, it has your colors, all of that sort of stuff. So you can totally take any part of the marketplace campaigns, DIY, like the copy, the branding, that sort of stuff, but still have all the back end tech in place. And a lot of times that's what really gets people tripped up in creating and actually bringing their ideas and their dreams to life, is because they don't know how to do the back end tech part. And for me, like I that's my favorite part. Like, that's silly enough, that's the one piece of my business where I don't hand that over to anybody on my team, because I really, really like doing it. And so I can have a whole back end tech done for a client and created as part of that campaign. I literally did that for a client last week for her 10-day challenge in, I think it was a half day, so like 3.5 hours, the entire back end tech and that's all of the emails, that is, taking the pages that her VA created, putting it inside of a campaign. So when they go to do this event next year, they have everything done. It saves them so much time. It saves you so much money, because now you don't have to pay someone to make it twice. You pay them to make it once, and then you deploy it, and then you just have to update the copy. It's so amazing.
Yeah. We were talking about like putting in a template, right? That you can literally rinse and repeat. You can scale so quickly. I mean, even if you're one person, you spend time to build one funnel, and then you can just rename it, right? With that hyphen, with the different dates, you can redo things that way you're not recreating work every 3 months, every whatever you want to do. Truly amazing.
Yeah. And a lot of times what I do with my clients, so like if I've had clients come to me that are just starting out with Kartra. And this is what I tell them. Let's get you every part of your business that you're going to need. You're going to need a sales funnel. You're going to probably want to do some sort of event. You're probably going to want to do some sort of like big lead gen event. So like a challenge or a summit or any of that sort of stuff. And we start small with our lead magnets. So like a freebie. And so we create that as a campaign. So we brand it all for them. So when they have multiple free gifts that they want to do, or maybe they're speaking on a summit or they're speaking on a podcast and they want to have a new free gift for that speaker or whatever it is that they're on, they can then go deploy that free gift that we created for them. It already has their branding. It already has all of their fonts and pictures, look and feel. It's really important to have that stay the same in your business, so that you have that brand recognition that goes along with who you are and how you're showing up in the interwebs, right? So we create that for them, and then we create their masterclass. We create that as a funnel campaign, and then we create their sales page as their funnel campaign. And then what they do is when they go to have a new masterclass, or maybe they're like, oh, I'm gonna do a paid masterclass. We do it in 2 ways. We do one that's paid and one that's free. So they literally, I'm like, all right, we're going to do a paid masterclass next month. They deploy that campaign. It already has all of their branding. You can technically get your entire business up and running with just those three. Well, maybe 4. So like a lead magnet, and technically with the lead magnet, you could probably use the masterclass one and just like get rid of some of the sections, because the lead magnet really is just maybe 3 or 4 sections. But I mean, you could really get away with using the minimal of those funnel campaigns and then just recreating them over and over for different variations of projects that you're doing. But that's what I always tell people in the very beginning, make sure you have all of those set up. So make it easier on yourself when you're ready to, let's say you're like, all right, we're going to sell a group program or we're going to sell an online course. You already have the sales funnel there. You literally just deploy it and then update whatever needs to be done. And it saves so much time. We used to do funnels from scratch all the time, and it would take us a few days. Depends on how large and long the sales page is. And now we've gotten to the point where, I mean, we got an entire funnel done in one day. Now we just do them VIP days, and we can get an entire sales page process of funnel and set it up for them as a campaign in just one single day. And then they can just rinse and repeat and use it over and over again as many times as they want.
That's amazing. Yeah, truly amazing. And a great way to scale and to really learn. You just have to learn something one time, and then just rinse and repeat.
I think too, Grant, what I often find with people is that sometimes, in most cases, they just get confused on what all the things it is that they need, right? And so you don't always think like, okay, I'm going to do a sales funnel. I know I need a sales page, thank you page, purchase tag, maybe an abandoned cart tag, thank you for your purchase email sequence, abandoned cart sequence, promo emails, and then maybe like a membership where you're housing all of it. Like, people don't generally just spew all of that out from memory. A lot of times they're like, I have no idea what I need. I just know that I need the things, right? And so this also helps to eliminate the guesswork in, I want to launch the thing, but I don't know what I need in order to launch it. This literally launches it for you. You just have to update the copy.
Yeah, truly fascinating. And it's all about like working smarter, not harder. There are campaigns created that people have done in the marketplace. There's done for you campaigns that are free. There's, all different kinds that are, niche specific. And that's my biggest recommendation for new customers too, when they come in and use Kartra, figuring out the back end, you just have to deploy a campaign that's already created. You get to see how things are in there.
Yes.
You get to learn by seeing and doing, and then to take it further, just rinse and repeat that. Yeah. I don't think anyone thinks of that,
No, and here's the thing is, when I first started with Kartra back in 2019, I shouldn't say I made the mistake, but I went through and I get very OCD about things, and I'm like, I love Kartra now. I'm just going to learn everything that I can about it in a weekend, and I did, and I then eventually hired someone to teach me, because there were certain things where, like, I don't know why, but for some reason I was afraid of that email sequence. I was afraid I was going to mess it up. Something about the email sequence was so intimidating. I was able to hire someone and ask questions and actually see like, hey, I'm just curious about how this works and different ways that I can use it. And so I think for me, one of the easiest things in getting to learn all of that was, number one, hiring support, hiring help for sure, of like really just showing me and all the things that I didn't know, because you don't know what you don't know. And then the Kartra training area is a great tool, especially in the very beginning, like early stages of Kartra, just to understand like the basics. It will take you far. And then the other thing that I did was I actually bought a done for you one. And I bought it because I wanted to see like how it was supposed to be set up, or how other people were maybe setting it up. And I learned a lot from the way that it was set up. I learned how I wanted to set it up, things that I did like about it, things that I didn't like about it, naming systems. Like, it's really cool. I'm a very visual person. So being able to see things, how it's set up based how I want to then set it up was really cool to see.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is amazing. We do have a question from, looks like Robin Spencer. They're asking, what is the difference between copy and deploy?
Copy and deploy. That's a great question. I'm going to share my screen and let's dive in. Let's do share screen.
And thank you guys for the questions. Keep them coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I love questions. All right, let's turn that off. Okay. All right. So copy and deploy, right? Okay, let's go to campaigns. My campaigns. Available campaigns. My campaigns. Let's see. Where was that? Copy. Do you mean clone, Robin? I'm going to go back to the Q&A.
Yeah, let's see.
What's the difference between copy and deploy? So I'm assuming that when you say copy, it's the clone. Robin, are you able to answer for us? If it is the clone,
Yes.
then yeah. So if you clicked on clone, it's literally just going to make another one for you. It's not going to make, it's basically a shortcut to clone everything that you just created. And then let's say maybe you already had one created, and now instead of it being a form where it's free, now I want to add a product. And so let's have this be a paid masterclass, right? And then click save and next, save and next. So the clone or the copy, great question, Robin, is essentially just taking, it's kind of like when you're in the pages and you go and you clone or make a copy, you're just making a copy of that one thing. Or with the campaign, you're making a copy of all of the campaigns or all of the assets inside of, whoops, sorry, I went way too fast there, of the same one prior. So you're making a copy of this one, but it's able to, it's like a shortcut of remaking another one. And so that way you're able to swap in assets that maybe you would need or wouldn't want. Does that make sense, Robin?
Yeah, that looks like that does make sense. And then
you could rename it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. They said yes.
Okay, perfect. Great. Now, one thing I want to talk about is the delete. When you delete a campaign, you can delete just the campaign, or you can delete all of the assets and everything in here. Be very careful when you're deleting all of the assets. I very rarely do the deleting of all of the assets, just because it removes every part of what you're creating. So just be very careful with that one.
Yeah. What are some other pitfalls that you've learned along the way?
I think that's kind of the only one. Now, let's see here. If we click on, these are ones that I have deleted. So it looks like if you were to delete it, it would still be here. And so you could restore it. This wasn't there before. I had to learn that one the hard way. I'm so grateful that we now have the recycle bin.
Yes, and I'll mention that those stay in that recycle bin for 30 days.
30 days, yeah.
Yep, and they restore full assets.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think there's anything else. Are there any other questions? I'll stop sharing. Cloning seems the same as sharing. Can you tell me the difference, please? Cloning. Okay. Yeah, sure. So sharing is technically when you click the share button. And sharing is when you are planning on actually like either sending it to someone else's account, or you're wanting to deploy it. So think of the My Campaigns as putting it inside of the gift box. And when you're taking it to available campaigns is when you're actually going to use it all. So the My Campaigns is the creation of it. And then you're telling what assets you want it to be there. So cloning is essentially just making a copy of this. Whereas if now I wanted to deploy this one instead of this one, so like we deployed this one, right? It's in the available campaign. So if we deployed it, there we go. And we go to My Campaigns. Now it's there. So we end up creating it and then sharing it with available campaigns. And then it goes back to like My Campaigns here. Now, if I wanted to delete this, so like if I click here and I click on view assets, everything will be 333 ahead of it, right? So if I want to go back to campaigns and I want to delete what I just deployed, because I don't really actually need it, I can delete it and delete all of the assets because I don't need those 333 everything in front of it. And then click close. So essentially what you're doing is you're creating it here as say like the mama bear, and then you're deploying it here is like the baby bear. But then when you deploy, and I understand it can be a little confusing, but when you're creating it and deploying it, it comes back here into my campaign. So it's still your campaign. You're creating it, and then you're deploying it from your available campaigns. Think of this as like your own online store, right? Like you've shared it with you. You can share it with other people. You can put it in your own the marketplace. And then when you deploy it, it comes back into your campaigns. Because like if you were to get a campaign from the marketplace and you're like, you know what, I really like Audrey's idea where she has that hyphen in front of everything. You could technically deploy that campaign, and then once it's deployed, you come back into here, and then you can go through and go back to all of the view assets and go to the tags, and then you could change the names of all of these so that it still has that hyphen. I hope this is not confusing. Does that make sense? So with the campaign section of the My Campaign, you have a little bit more of control over what you're creating. Whereas in the available campaign, like this is deployed and brought to life by what you've told Kartra it is in here. I hope that helps. I know sometimes the tech part of that can be a little fun.
Yeah, it's like My Campaign is where you create everything, where you edit everything, but then, you know, for that brief moment when you're deploying it, you go into available campaigns, deploy, and then back to My Campaigns. Yep. See if we have any other questions. Sam says, not sure of the benefit of share over clone, though.
What is the question? What is the benefit? Okay, so share versus clone. So how do I word this? So sharing is being able to either give it to someone else in their account, or sharing is when you're going to deploy it. So it's in your account and you want it to live, like you want to duplicate it. So that's what the sharing part is. So you share that code and then it deploys into available campaigns and deploys it. So you have your original masterclass that you created. It did really well. It converted really well. And now you want to share that. You want to create that campaign and you want to share it with yourself. And the reason why you would put it in a campaign and deploy it that way is because then you only have to hit one button and you can deploy, like that says there's 16 assets in this masterclass as opposed to manually cloning 16 assets, right? So that is the, excuse me, that is the upside of campaigns, is it's manually, or it's automatically cloning all of the assets for you with one button so that you don't have to clone 16 assets for that one rinse and repeat funnel to come to life. So it's essentially taking, I'm trying to think of a really cool like duplication process, but yeah, it's essentially just being able to take the original and then hitting a button and then duplicating it all at once instead of having to manually clone and copy everything manually. I don't know how many times I can say manually, but yeah, it's a very cool way to be able to automate the process of cloning. Gotcha. I hope that helps. Let's see, chat. There it is. So cloning a campaign does not clone the assets within. Makes sense. No, it doesn't clone the assets within. Great. Yeah. When I see how you worded it that way, yeah, it doesn't clone the assets. It just clones the actual campaign. When you want to clone the assets, you share the code and you deploy it. Yes. Okay, great. I'm glad that worked for you, Sam.
Perfect.
Yeah. So do you guys see how you can be using campaigns? I want to see your ideas from today's class. From our workshop today, what are some ways that you think that you could utilize the campaign area for your own business or for your own Kartra account?
That would be amazing. And do you happen to have like a cheat sheet or anything of that process of the My Campaign to deploy, share the code?
No.
Slides? Okay.
I don't, unfortunately, no.
No worries.
Cheat. Not for the campaigns, no. I could create something, but yeah, I don't have anything right now. Need to watch the replay. I missed the big chunks. Looking forward to seeing it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Sam, once you watch it, let us know what you think.
Yes. Yeah, if there's any other questions, do let us know. Hopefully that clears things up with the copy paste or the clone deploy.
Yeah, the clone is essentially just cloning the campaign. It doesn't clone the asset. So it's a cool way to be able to, like, if you're using the same tags over and over again, like I want to use the same tags for the tracking links, right? So I use the same tracking links. So I want to know who's in my Facebook bio, who's in my Instagram bio, who's in my Instagram story, all that sort of stuff. So when I go to create a campaign of any kind, I literally have all those tags, and the tracking links I can't reuse because the tracking links obviously have specific pages they go to. But for the tags and like the purchase tag, the abandoned cart, all of that sort of stuff can be put into a campaign and cloned so that you can deploy it, and those tags will always be the same. You'll always need to know who either opted in or who purchased. And if you're using an abandoned cart, like all of that is the same. So it just saves you some steps. You're working on a campaign that starts with a fun Christmas quiz. That sounds fun. Yeah, if you're doing multiple quizzes. Oh, here's another way. This is a good one. Okay. So let's say you have a group program, or so like me, I have a membership, and I have for example, let's say at the end of each module, you have a like a quiz or a survey or something that you want them to take to say, like, hey, how did this week go for you? Did you do the action steps or the homework, or, did you do any of that sort of stuff? And then, like, what was your takeaway? What was your aha? Like, you want that at the end of every single module. And it's pretty much the same, maybe different questions based off different topics that you're working on. You could literally you're going to want to have a tag, right? Because you want to know who took it, and you're going to need to have that quiz survey. And so you could literally create it as a campaign, and then when you go to deploy it, you can have it be like the name of your event. So like mine, one of the things I have is called the Launch Creative. It's a mastermind. And so I can have TLC -M1. So it could be like module 1, the quiz that they take. And then maybe I have 8 modules for that. So I could literally deploy it 8 times. And then if I need to change whatever questions I can, if it's the same every time, then you can literally just, boom, you have 8 of them. And now in your membership area, at the end of each module, you can put in survey 1, survey 2, survey 3 over and over again. And it beats having to create a new, like, clone the tag, clone the survey. Because then even if you do that, like, you still have to go back into the cloned survey to change the tag that would go with the correct one, right? So why not just make the whole thing as a campaign? Yeah. Yes, really rinse and repeat. It's such a really cool way to be able to just systemize and automate everything.
Well, and what you just pointed there too is like, okay, yeah, you can clone large sales funnels and large tons of assets, but you can also just clone tags and quizzes. Like, and you were doing something with tracking links, like, just a rinse and repeat of even small assets that makes all the automation so much better. Amazing.
Yeah. So for the tracking link, is this so helpful? Yes. Okay. Yes. It's just, yeah. So one of the things I was doing, excuse me, I have come down with a little bit of a cold, so bear with me here. One of the things that I also do is, so when let's say I'm doing a big event, and I have 30 speakers for my event, and I don't necessarily want them to sign up as an affiliate and go through the affiliate process, but I want to generate the tracking link for them. I want to be able to keep track of how many clicks, all the things, just through using a tracking link. One of the ways that I did that was, so earlier in January, I had a big event that I did. And so what I did was I created the tracking link, and I created the tag, essentially as, I think it was like the name of the event, 2023-speaker. So then I created the tag and the tracking link as a campaign with that hyphen in the front. And then when I went to deploy it 30 times, I didn't have to create the tracking link and I didn't have to create the tag every time. I just put the speaker's name in the very front. So like when I'm working with clients and they're like, we have 42 speakers, I'm like, great, no problem. And so we literally created as a campaign and then just put in the speaker's name, copy, paste it. And then it spits out, 42 tracking links for us. It's a really cool shortcut way of having to create something that would generally take so long just for those two, one tag, one tracking link. You just clone it, put it in a campaign, share it with yourself, and then just deploy it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And it sounds like, naming conventions is something to get ahead of from the get-go, right? Like, and that is true. Like all the experts and Kartra certified partners I speak to, you guys have these good naming conventions, right? And that's something you probably learned with expertise and putting things like the hyphens and dates and you kind of your own code is important.
Yeah, I mean, and I've taken courses or seen how other people name things, and ultimately I do what works for my brain. So like I saw one course where they had done like 0 and it was like subscribers and 1 and it was like something else. My brain doesn't work that way. Like the way that I like things to be set up in my account when it comes to like the naming system is I have the name of the event. So like if the name of my event, it was called the Soulshine Business Journey. And so I create the category Soulshine Business Journey event tags. Okay. And that is for opt-ins, for purchases, for abandoned cart, if they viewed a page, any of that sort of stuff. And then I have the Soulshine Business Journey -tracking links. And that's for Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the things, right, for social media. And then I have the Soulshine Business Journey -speaker links. And so then that's where all the speakers tracking links would go. And I even took it a step further and created before and afters. So what that means, and this, I hope this doesn't confuse people, but what I did was these tracking links were expiring after 6 months. So anything that was purchased within that 6 months, they would get, the person would get a tag for that tracking link. And so once that tag was then removed, then we knew anyone who purchased something from that, let's say Grant, you're a speaker and you come into my account and all of these, let's say you bring in like 400 people, amazing people into my Kartra world. And everybody's going to have the speaker. It's going to say, because I deployed the campaign, it's going to say Grant Soulshine Business Journey -speaker. And then once that 6 months is up, that tag is going to go away. And then I created a new one that said previous. So I hope this doesn't confuse people. This is a little bit pro when it comes to like creating a system where once a tag expires, then a new tag comes in and then a new automation happens. But essentially what I did was I created that whole process as a campaign. So I had the current speaker tag, the previous speaker tag, I had an automation in there, and I had a tracking link. So that campaign had 4 assets. It was the tags, the automation, and the tracking link. So that whenever someone would opt in, they'd get the tracking link. That tracking link would be with that person for 6 months, and then it would go away. And then I would know what was sold and purchased and all that sort of stuff within that time frame to be able to give Grant his affiliate bonus or speaker bonus.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. Yeah. I mean, because, Kartra, it can do so much. Like it's literally like it's limited by your creativity. And there are systems that you can use that, like for you, campaigns have been that game changer that helps you scale and help you do everything. I love that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. It looks like we don't have any other questions. If there are, please do let us know. But yeah, real quick, Audrey, where can people get in contact with you?
Oh, I have a slide for that. I forgot. I have a beautiful slide. Let's share that. So, here you go. This is where you can find me. So on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. Our website's The Soulshine Creative, and you can always email me at Audrey@thesoulshinecreative.com. So yeah, if you were on here, go ahead and go to Instagram and give me a follow, and I might have a yeah, just go ahead and do that.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Audrey. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us or to Audrey. You can contact Kartra at community@genesisdigital.co. And we appreciate you guys so much. Until next time, thank you.
Bye. Have a good one.